of Minecraft. It's so peaceful, so serene, with its beautiful beaches, lush forests, and snowy mountains. The crafters are so lucky to enjoy their entire lives in this true masterpiece of euphoria. That's until some idiot IRL friendly decides to do hardcore. Yeah, it wasn't enough that we completely failed last time. He wants to go in for another round. And I guess here we are again. In hell. This, what you see right now, that is where we are. Not literally. That's how I feel. When I look around, that's what I see. Either way, enjoy my suffering, as we do many days of hardcore Minecraft. Well, that was a lovely welcome. We started off the day with stick trades, and yes, I know that's exactly how everyone wants to start their day, with a whole bunch of sticks in their hand, throwing them at villagers, getting emeralds back. I definitely enjoy my stick trade villagers. They're very, very helpful. I even finished off my enchants, well, for now. I mean, I got the best enchants that I could think of for now. Not like, 4s and 5s and stuff like that. Just, 3s and a few 2s when it came to looting and fortune. But at this point, I don't mind. I just need to start working on the build rather than focusing too much on my tools and my armor. But today, well, this episode, we will be starting on the seawall and hopefully doing a whole chunk of it. I really want to get through a lot of it. And as you can see, we were able to get a little bit of a plan. But breaking down all the silk-touched ore was a must for me because we had so much to do with that. And we have a fortune pick, so I laid it out like I usually do. I usually like to lay it in a nice little block, and mine it out. But of course, there's a video for you to watch where it's nice and peaceful. You can watch me do it. So nice. Day 62. It was time to go mining again. I really enjoy mining. A little too much. Maybe I do yearn for the mines. And one day I will stop saying that because it will be so far from the movie's time that I will never remember it. We can only hope. I did find a labyrinth, however, which I was actually like, this is so cool. I'm enjoying finding structures underground, especially ones that I've never seen before. It was just lots of blocks of tuff. It was just a tuff labyrinth, which I'm guessing wouldn't exist if Tricky Trials didn't exist, so it's, that kind of update. It also had spawners inside of it, which you had to break, and some treasure that you would eventually find. It was all a bit of fun, and I was happy to find it, to be honest. It was a nice little break from just mining and finding nothing. day 63, 64, and 65, well, I did tricky trials. That's right. I went back to the tricky trials, although this time I did the ominous version, which I find really interesting, the concept of, like, you have to drink a bottle of a potion that makes you ominous, which I'm really happy that those what are they called, illagers with the posts? I don't know what they're called. We'll call them commanders. That when you kill them, that they don't just give you bad omen, they now drop a bottle, so it's just not like, oh, I can't go near a village for like ages now. Cries. But I do love the addition of ominous raids. I think they're really cool. Which I do have to plan on doing one of those eventually, I really do. But ominous tricky trials, I really like the idea of ominous tricky trials. I think they're so cool. And the only downside I'd say is the fact that if you go with someone else, so if you're on a multiplayer server and you go with someone else, the person who has the potion has to go first, otherwise it won't activate the ominous trial. So it's a little janky, I'd say. I wish you didn't have to do that, but it's perfectly fine. I wish they had like parties. You can invite someone to your party or something, and just like a normal multiplayer game, like a MMORPG kind of style. But yes, I did go in there. I had a lot of fun. It was very challenging. I was worried because we're in hardcore, and my mind is, I don't want to die. But I did have some, enchanted diamond and enchanted gear, so I was feeling a little confident. There were a few close calls, but I didn't die, and that's all that matters. just thinking to myself, I didn't die, therefore I didn't have to learn anything. Honestly, day 64, 5, or 3 could have been my last days. I wasn't playing safe. I was overly confident, but I did survive to the next day. Day 6 and 67, I was back into the mines. That's right. Yeah, you couldn't keep me out of it. I picked up the pickaxe. I looked in deep into its pick head. I think it's just head. I think it's just called a head, a shaft and a head, which is kind of gross. Now that I think about it. But no, I looked into its head and I thought to myself, yes, we must go get the diamonds. And it whispered back to me, yes, the diamonds. Either that or I'm losing my mind. I'm pretty sure it was ladder. I'm pretty sure I'm losing my mind, but I guess you can't lose your mind if it's already been lost. So double losing your mind? Double jeopardy doesn't exist, so I don't know. Anyway, I went back into the mines and I have a lovely clip for you to watch of me mining. Woo! Enjoy the music. It's very peaceful. I like it. I chose some very peaceful music for hardcore because hardcore has been so hardcore. On day 68, I found an underground village. It was empty, and there was no people there, and there was, I think it was an iron golem, and it did have this really cool, like, the lichen, I think it is. It was like in strips, and it was kind of lighting up the area. It looked kind of cool. I liked finding a village under there. It was just disappointing that everyone died. You could make a story up about how they were infested with zombies because they're down in the dungeon, and just one day, I know Billy decided to break through and into a cave full of creepers, and then just, everyone died. I don't know. I like these additions of extra structures and things to find. It just was very strange, and I was like, oh, this is cool and useless, but cool. I mean, cool. If there were villagers down there, imagine how good the villager trading hall could be. You could just block all the cave entrances or cave exits, all the holes. Just trap them in there and then clear out everything and light it all up and put something down there. Make a villager dungeon. There's a troll in your dungeon. Well, not in this one. There was only an iron golem. Nothing else. When I reached the surface on day 69, 69, I had a whole bunch of ores to fortune. Now, I was using Silk Touch, as you guys know, to Silk Touch all the blocks, and I laid them out oh so pretty, just laying them out, and then fortuned the hell out of them, getting as much as I possibly could. And there's even a little time lapse for you to watch. After I'd finished fortuning all those ores and looking down at them and being very happy and proud of myself, I did some wheat and stick trades. You know, it's perfectly fine to go from getting completely rich to then doing capitalism and getting even richer and rubbing it in the villagers' faces. I mean, they're fine. I also then started breeding. The breeding process. Yes, I forced them to breed again. I am the worst. I'm the worst leader. I'm just like, hey guys, come here. I'm gonna take your stuff and give you worthless stuff, and I'm gonna make you guys fuck. Okay? Okay? We're all good with this? Good. We have some beautiful time lapses for you guys to watch, but I ended up starting the wall. Now, I know I already talked about the fact that I'd be using corals and cobblestone and mossy cobblestone, but I decided the combination would be tube coral, or dead tube coral, dead horn coral, cobblestone, mossy cobblestone, and a tiny bit of stone at the top. Through that, I was able to make a seawall that I was happy with. I decided to remove moss. I didn't see the point, because if it was in a lake, maybe, but I decided the sea probably wouldn't be the best friend to moss, and the mossy cobble kind of looks like, you know, just algae and stuff like that. But yes, for day 71, 72, and 73, I finished the beautiful seawall. Oh, my beautiful seawall. I don't know. It's something I'm very proud of. I was able to do a lot of things that I don't usually do, like blending and ombres and shit like that. But it was really nice. It was really nice. I liked it. I'm proud. I'm proud of it. Which I don't often get proud of stuff, so you know. Day 74. It was time to build the arches. Now, I know I talked about the arches in the last episode, talking about, discussing it with the Discord channel and asking them what they would like. I did end up bringing them stone brick and deep slate brick and saying which one looks better against the stone wall. I thought they would choose stone because it kind of blends a little bit. Well, a lot, because they're both the same color. However, they chose deep slate. They wanted something that would stand out more. And honestly, if they hadn't told me, I would have chosen stone, to be honest. But I listened and I did something new, so it was nice. But we did build a few arches. I guess the question is, at the end of the day, which one was better? Was it better to do the stone? Was it better to do the deep slate? I guess it does depend on taste and how you feel about things blending color-wise. Do you like putting dark colors against light colors? Because I like doing that. I like doing the whole dark oak with quartz. Personally, think that looks really great. I also do dark oak and diorite, but I have a data pack that makes diorite not look like, bird shit. So there's that. On day 75, I had finally made a decision. I had made a full decision on what I was going to do for all of the arches. Not just a few of the arches just to test and see what it would look like. No, the decision had been made. I knew I was going to go with the deep slate. And I'm glad that people kind of convinced me to do it. I really am. I think it looks great. I also tried to tweak it a little bit differently than what I was saying. I was going to do just like deep slate blocks all the way into the water, but when I saw it with the deep slate fence, it looked so much better. It looked weird and cool, and I kind of liked it. Structurally, it makes no sense, but we're not here to be, architects. It's not our job, it's just not our job. I also went out to collect some more dark oak as I knew I'd be using it because I wanted to use all the trapdoors to connect both the arches and have kind of like a fence all the way around. I wasn't too sure if I wanted to use it at the time, but I would like to have it just in case. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Luckily, I also came across some wheat, some hay bales for breeding. Going to turn them into some bread for some more children. But every time I see hay bales now, I'm like, ooh, go over there. I also found some villages with more wheat, which was really nice. I'm not used to finding so many villages so close together. But hey, I'm not going to complain. Got some good stuff out of them. Day 76. It was time to collect some dark oaks. And of course the saplings as well. You can have as much wood as you want, but if you have some saplings and take them home, you're set. But you have to remember to get more than 8, because what if the trees don't drop 4? What if they drop 3? Or 2? Or I've actually had one drop 1. And that was in a skyblock world, and that was the worst. I restarted the world. I was like, nope, not doing it. I was like 10, 20 days in. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do it now. But you've always got to remember to catch those saplings. But yeah, I was able to pass out a whole bunch of bread and to get some more villagers. Even though I hadn't really paid attention to how many villages I already had, there was a lot more villages than I expected. I am now no longer a person of just a few people in a village. I am the mayor of a town full of people who have needs and wants, and I just don't want to deal with that. Maybe I should just put them all in a prison. No, I can't do that. Got to give them lives, got to be respectful. On day 77 and 78, we finished off the pillars. We got all the pillars done. They look great. They look good. But it was nice to actually get them in, put the trapdoors as well, the dark oak trapdoors. I stuck to it and I said, yes, this is what I want. I went all the way around. I did stop. I only did the parts that have the seawall. I will say that, because the corners, like the side parts, don't have the seawall yet, and the opposite side of the ocean, the ocean, the little rivery thing that we had the bridge going across, that didn't have seawall yet, so I couldn't put it against it. But it did take me 2 days to do the small part, so I'm worried about how long it's going to take to do the other side, plus the bridge, plus the other 2 edges. It's a little worrisome, but I'm sure it's gonna be fine. Day 79. I spent the day designing the top of the pillars. I really wanted to get them correct, right. Especially because if we were going to move on and put them everywhere else, I'd like to know exactly what we're doing in the small area, so that when we start doing the big area, we're we're locked in, we know what we're doing, we don't have to rethink it or go, ooh, but what about this design? No, we've got it now. I also put the fence, the dark oak fence that I was talking about before. Yep, decided it was good. I just wanted to make sure that the villagers didn't fall off. I'm sure they're going to do it anyway. I mean, you'd have to get barrier blocks to keep them in. If only. If only you could get barrier blocks in Hardcore World. That would be amazing. One day. I will say, if I ever die in this Hardcore World, I am tempted to just turn it into a survival world and just, continue going. It would suck. It would suck. But I don't like giving up worlds, I will say that. And last time I had to give up my hardcore world because it got corrupted, it hurt. It hurt my feelings. So hopefully I don't have to do that again. Something that someone suggested is, what about lights? And I was like, oh yeah, I probably should do that. So I basically created a street lamp facing the water. I tried some different styles and showed the Discord just to get some ideas. But yeah, it really wanted the street lamps to actually face the water. I don't know why. I still don't understand it now, reading over it and thinking about it, like why I wanted it specifically to look over the water. But hey, they looked good. On day 80, the final day of the episode, I finished up with the problem of lack of deep slate. Because I had to do so many of the pillars, I had run out of deep slate. I had 0. And I was feeling very uncomfortable about my lack of deep slate. Usually I have so much. I mean, maybe it's because my mining sessions keep getting cut short. I feel like every time I go mining, I get distracted by something I find, which is fine. But maybe just need to sit down and do like a 5-day mining session non-stop, just getting stuff. I mean, that's what it's going to turn into. I have been tempted to put the sophisticated backpack mod on this world, just because. But I feel like we need to wait at least to 100 days before I decide if I want to add the quality of life mods or something like that. We'll see. I will wait till then. But yeah, either way, we had to go get some deep slate, and here is a beautiful time lapse to wrap it all up.